Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Would you like a cookie, son?
Michael Strahan harassing Brady to beat the undefeated Patriots. Peyton Manning hoisting the Lombardi Trophy over the Carolina Panthers. Even Calvin Johnson catching 10 for 137 and a touchdown.
That's on football, baby! All day!
Many NFL greats have found a way to save their best for last and go out with a bang. But for one Hall of Famer, the bang he heard was closer to a building being demolished, as years of hard work and record-setting performances came crashing down faster than you could say Ray Finkel. This is the worst NFL farewell game. Jacksonville, Florida, January 15th, the year of our Lord 2000 and nothing. Divisional round of the NFL playoffs. In his 17th season, Dan Marino looks to continue the quest for his first Super Bowl win. Sure, it was a rocky season where he rushed back from injury and threw a ton of interceptions.
Dan Marino cannot throw the ball.
Okay, maybe a Dolphins team that won one of their final 6 games shouldn't be too hopeful. Maybe it's a bad sign when analysts are saying Miami should bench Marino if they want any chance to win. But this is Dan fucking Marino. He was the first QB to throw over 60,000 yards. He was the league MVP in just his second season. He threw exactly 420 touchdowns. Nice. Shit, he even helped Ace Ventura find Snowflake.
My esteemed colleague, Mr. Marino, has just brought some new evidence to my attention.
So in the wildcard matchup a week earlier, it was no surprise Marino put together a fourth quarter game-winning 85-yard drive to lead Miami past Seattle, and on to the big play 14-2 Jaguars. This came a day after the other AFC wildcard matchup saw the 10-6 Bills travel to the 13-3 Titans, where we were treated to a different type of history with the Music City Miracle. Also that week, Bill Belichick became the head coach of the New York Jets, then a day later resigned to go and do something else.
Hopefully this press conference will go a little better than the last one I had.
Bill Gates stepped aside too, promoting Steve Ballmer to take the lead at Microsoft. And the last perennial ibex was found dead after being crushed by a tree. Definitely not foreshadowing or anything. The Jaguars start the game with a 9-play, 73-yard touchdown drive, and look pretty good doing it. But that only means we get to see the greatest passer of all time air it out to keep his team in the game. And on his very first snap, he throws that dang ball right into the arms of Jaguars corner Aaron Beasley.
How about that?
That's alright though, the Dolphins' defense is stout and they hold the Jaguars to just a field goal. Miami gets the ball back and still has their whole playbook available, which leads to run, incompletion, which was nearly a second pick to Beasley on the exact same play. But they're allowed to punt, it's just 10-0, plenty of time left. Plus all season, the Dolphins defense was very good. Oh my god, Fred Taylor ran for 90 yards. How could this happen? Okay, so not a dream start for Miami, but at least they get the ball back pretty quickly for the offense to put some points on the board. On the first play of the very next drive, Marino drops back, surveys, gets sacked and fumbles, leading to the slowest defensive touchdown as everyone realizes the play wasn't dead.
This is still live. Tony Bracken. They haven't blown a whistle yet. No. And finally, he rumbles toward the end zone. That's a touchdown.
Seriously, this took so long. So technically, this drive put points on the board, but yeah, 24-0 Jacksonville. 12 minutes into the game, and the Dolphins have snapped the ball 5 times. Marino has 1 interception, 1 fumble, and 0 completions. On the ensuing drives, Miami once again goes run, incompletion, gives up another long Fred Taylor touchdown, then run, sack, incompletion, and punctuates the 3-and-out with a blocked punt. Hey, Dan, maybe you should have let the guys know there was a chance this could be your last game. The Miami defense gives up another long rushing touchdown, and with 12 minutes left in the first half, it's Jaguars 38, Dolphins 0. That 0 is also how many completions Marino has, at least to his own team. So when they go to work once again, they're fully committed to throwing themselves out of the grave they dug. With the Dolphins abandoning the run, Marino manages to avoid going 3-and-out because he throws his second interception of the game. Once again, to Beasley. But don't feel too bad, Dan. Beasley is a psychic who saw this coming.
This morning, I had a dream Dan Marino threw me 2. And I had a dream Wednesday that he threw me 2. Most of the time, my dreams come true.
Ballmer could have used some of Beasley's soothsaying. Just 3 months after he took over, Microsoft was ruled to have violated US antitrust laws. Or maybe he could have warned Ray Lewis not to go to that Super Bowl party, and instead just enjoy a quiet, nice night at home with a cup of tea. By now, the Jaguars have backup quarterback and next season's Miami starter, Jay Fiedler, in the game, because why not? Let's just have multiple inferior quarterbacks outplay the living legend. The Miami defense forces the Jags to punt, and with 10:48 left in the first half, Dan Marino finally comes to life. He finds Gadsden, and the pair connect for a 3-yard completion. It may have taken 8 attempts, but we finally get a completed pass. And they are just getting started. They follow that up with, oh, what's this? Another completion for 2 yards. The dude is heating up. Marino then works his magic to force defensive pass interference, giving Miami their first down of the game. Next, well, Marino throws 3 straight incompletions, but shit, even Alexander the Great couldn't invade India without going 5 yards first. After Marino has a backwards pass fumble where his running back doesn't even try to bail him out, and after he watches a completion get stripped away for another turnover, Dan finally puts together a drive to remind everyone what the real Marino is all about. He closes out the first half with an 80-yard, 9-play drive, capped off with a 20-yard touchdown pass to Gadsden. Marino heads into the locker room on a high note, down 41-7.
Oh boy, we have reached the end of the first half.
Okay, so end it there, and it's a slightly reasonable cap to a career. Sure, it's a loss, like a bad one, but to have your final snap be a touchdown pass, there's something poetic about that. Unfortunately, Jimmy Johnson hates poetry. He trots Marino back out there to start the second half. The Dolphins go run, short completion, then an incomplete pass on 3rd down. The Dolphins fail to pick up a first down for the 8th time on 10 drives. Fiedler connects with Jimmy Smith for a 70-yard touchdown, and Jimmy Johnson's hair finally decides to bench Marino. That 3rd down incompletion would be the final snap of his career. Both teams had their backups in the game just 3 minutes into the second half. That's 27 minutes of game time to kill, where one team with a future Hall of Famer has thrown in the towel. Families went to church early to make sure they could witness this game. But instead, the second half highlight was the automatic sprinklers coming on to wash the misery off the Dolphins players. The Jaguars advanced to the AFC Championship 62-7. It was a performance that would get Marino into the record books one final time, largest margin of victory in a modern era playoff game. Dan the Man finished the game 11 of 25 for 95 yards, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and 1 touchdown that came in what was basically garbage time, regardless of it still being the first half. Jimmy Johnson would retire the next day, and a month after that, Marino voided the 2 years remaining on his contract. He flirted with playing for Minnesota, but ultimately decided to retire, making the announcement on March 13th. 2 weeks later, the site of his final career victory was demolished to make way for a building that definitely doesn't pump in fake noise. We also said goodbye to another great, Peanuts creator Charles Schultz, who was a pioneer of trick plays in football. Dan Marino had an incredible career, but like others before and after him, it kept him from knowing when to call it quits. Thankfully, his absolutely flawless transition to TV allowed us to all look past his subpar finale.
He was on a bye week, by the way, playing golf. He told me that defense is
So while we all wish for a storybook ending, the reality is life isn't fair and we get what we deserve. So when you go down in flames, just be grateful for the warmth. Man, that guy's voice sucked. They should really bring back the other guy. Or the other guy. Or the other guy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe to SB Nation for more, and come back next Friday for another episode of The Worst.